My name is Maya, and I'm 29 years old. People say love opens your heart, but sometimes it breaks it first. I didn't understand those words when I first heard them. Back then, I believed love was simple, pure, safe. Something beautiful that arrived when you were finally ready. But life had another plan for me. I still remember the first moment I saw him. His name was Daniel, and he stood in the small cafe near my office, holding a cup of coffee like he was holding a tiny piece of warmth in a cold world. I don't know why, but something inside me paused. It felt like my heart took one soft breath and whispered, maybe this is him. Maybe this is the person I've been waiting for. At that time in my life, I wanted connection more than anything. I wanted someone who saw me not just the smile I put on for others, but the real me underneath. I wanted a soulmate, or at least someone who made the world feel less lonely. And somehow, Daniel did that from the very first moment. Our first conversations were simple comments about the weather, the long lines at the cafe, the music playing in the background, but they felt different. His voice was calm, deep, almost comforting. His smile was soft, not loud or showy. And when he looked at me, it felt like he really looked like he listened before I even spoke. Slowly, our small moments turned into long walks after work. We talked about everything: books we loved, the families we grew up in, the dreams we were almost too shy to share. We walked through parks, watched sunsets, and sometimes said nothing at all. But even the silence felt full, warm, alive. For the first time in years, I felt safe. And safety is a powerful thing for a heart that has been alone for too long. I used to come home at night and sit on my bed, smiling without even knowing it. My chest felt light. My world felt bigger. I wasn't lonely anymore. I belonged somewhere with him. Daniel noticed everything: the way I pushed my hair behind my ear when I was nervous, the way I hummed when I concentrated, the way I tried to hide my sadness when I talked about my past. He remembered small details I didn't even remember telling him. He encouraged me when I doubted myself. He held my hand when I felt scared of the future. One rainy evening, we sat by my window, watching the water slide down the glass like silver lines. The room was quiet, except for the rain, and he said softly, "I don't know why, but being with you feels right." I felt the same. We talked about traveling someday, maybe Italy, maybe Thailand. We talked about families and what kind of homes we wanted to build. We even talked about forever, not in a dramatic way, but in a warm, hopeful way. Sometimes, as we walked through the city at night, with lights glowing around us and our hands touching, I thought, this is it. This is what love is supposed to feel like. And for a while, I let myself believe in that dream. I let myself believe he was my soulmate. But shadows often come quietly: soft steps, slow movements, small changes that you can feel before you can see. At first, I didn't notice anything. But then, little things began to shift. His phone, which he once left on the table without worry, was suddenly always face down. He stepped away during calls. He answered messages quickly, then locked the screen even faster. Sometimes he became distant, quiet, lost in thoughts he didn't share. When I asked if everything was okay, he gave me a tired smile and said, "Just work. Don't worry." So I tried not to worry. I tried to trust him. But trust is hardest when something inside you whispers that something isn't right. One night, when we were together, I reached for his hand and he pulled away. Just a little. Just for a moment. But it felt like a cold drop of rain landing on warm skin. I told myself not to overthink it. I told myself love had ups and downs. I told myself to have faith. But doubt had already started growing in me, slow like a quiet storm. The real shift, the moment my world truly stopped, happened on a night that should have been sweet and simple. Daniel forgot his jacket at my apartment. It was nothing special, just a dark blue coat he always wore when the evenings were cold. I picked it up to hang it by the door. And that's when I felt something heavy in the pocket. At first, I thought it was just a wallet or keys. But when I reached inside, my fingers touched something smooth, something unfamiliar. A card, a hotel key card. I froze. I stared at it in my hand as my heartbeat grew loud in my ears. We had never gone to that hotel. There was no work meeting there. There was no reason, no innocent explanation I could think of in that moment. I felt the room tilt slightly, like the world had lost its balance. My throat tightened. My hands began to shake. But still, I tried to breathe. I tried to tell myself it could mean something else. I tried to believe the man I loved, my supposed soulmate, was still the person I thought he was. I put the card on the table and sat down slowly. The air felt heavy. My chest felt empty. And yet, I didn't cry. Not yet. Because some part of me, deep inside, already knew. It had known for weeks. Maybe even months. I whispered to myself, there has to be an explanation. There has to be. But another voice inside me whispered even louder. Maya, this is the beginning of the truth you don't want to see. And with that, the love I believed in began to crack softly, painfully, silently. The night I found the hotel key card, sleep did not come to me. I lay in my bed, staring at the ceiling. Feeling the weight of that small piece of plastic on my bedside table, it looked so innocent. Just a card. Just a hotel name. Just a room number. But in my heart, it felt like a bum. My hands were cold. My chest felt heavy, like someone was slowly pressing a stone into it. My mind tried to protect me, telling me, wait for him to explain. Don't jump to conclusions. Maybe there is a reason. But there was another voice inside me. A quiet, honest voice. It whispered, Maya, you already know something is wrong. The next day, when Daniel texted me, acting normal, something inside me broke a little more. His words looked like lies now, even when they were simple. Good morning, how are you? I miss you. Did he miss me? Or did he miss the version of me who did not know the truth? A few days later, the feeling inside me became too strong. It was like a wave I could not push away anymore. I needed answers. I needed to know if the man I loved was the man I thought he was. So I did something I never imagined I would do. I waited until he was in the shower at my place. His phone was on the bed, screen lighting up with a new message. My heart was beating so fast I could hear it. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. I told myself, you don't want to be this person. You don't want to check. But I also told myself, you deserve to know. I opened his phone, and there it was. Messages. Her name, pictures, plans. They talked about their hotel. They talked about missing each other. They talked about me like I was an obstacle. A problem. Something that would hurt. But it will pass. I felt the world go quiet. The air around me disappeared. The room faded. All I could see were his words to her, his promises. His love that was never really just mine. In 1 second, love turned into betrayal. Certainty broke into a million pieces of confusion. I put the phone back, sat on the edge of the bed, and stared at the floor. He was living another life. And I was not part of that truth. That night, after he left, I felt like a ghost in my own home. I walked from the kitchen to the living room, from the living room to the bedroom, not really seeing anything around me. My body was moving, but my mind was somewhere else inside old memories, replaying them one by one like painful little movies. The first time he said, "You are special to me." The time he held my hand in the rain. The night he told me, "I see a future with you." Were those moments real? Or were they just scenes in a story he told both of us? I lay in bed, eyes open, watching the dark slowly change into morning light. I did not sleep. I did not cry at first. It was worse than crying. I felt empty. Then, slowly, the tears came. Quiet at first, then stronger, until I was shaking. I blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I wasn't pretty enough, interesting enough, fun enough. Maybe I loved him too much. Or not enough. Maybe I did something wrong. I tried to remember every small fight, every strange silence. I looked for signs that I missed. I punished myself for trusting him so completely. But under all that pain, a very small feeling began to grow. It was not hope. It was not peace. It was anger. Not wild anger. Not the kind that shouts and breaks things. It was a quiet, deep anger. A feeling that said, "You didn't deserve this." And that tiny flame of anger would later become the start of my healing. I knew I had to talk to him. Not through messages. Not over the phone. Face to face. We met at the same cafe where we first saw each other. I used to love that place. That day, it felt like a stage where the last act of our story would play. He smiled when he saw me, like nothing was wrong, like my heart wasn't broken in my chest. I looked at him and saw two men at once. The man I loved, and the man who lied to me. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the hotel card at him or show him the messages right away. My voice was calm, but my hands were cold under the table. I said, very softly, "Daniel, is there something you want to tell me?" He looked confused at first. Then I showed him the hotel card I had kept in my bag. I watched the color drain from his face. His eyes changed. His shoulders dropped. Silence. Then came the excuses. "It's not what you think." I was confused. It didn't mean anything. I was scared of losing you. His words fell between us like broken glass. As he talked, I felt something strange. The more he tried to explain, the more I saw him clearly. I saw his fear of being alone. I saw his selfishness. I saw how easily he said things he didn't truly mean. And for the first time, I also saw myself clearly. I saw a woman who loved honestly. A woman who trusted. A woman who did not deserve to be someone's second choice, backup plan, or secret. I listened until I couldn't anymore. Then, very quietly, I said, "You didn't just break my heart. You broke my trust. And without trust, there is no love." Walking away from him was the hardest thing I have ever done. My legs felt weak when I stood up from that table. My throat hurt from holding back tears. Every part of me wanted to go back. To sit down again. To listen to one more excuse. One more promise that things would change. But another part of me, stronger, now said no. Leaving was not a big, dramatic scene. There was no shouting, no throwing drinks, no people watching us. It was simple. I stood up. I picked up my bag. I said, "Goodbye, Daniel." And then I walked out. With every step, my heart screamed, but my soul felt a tiny bit lighter. Sometimes strength doesn't look like fighting for someone. Sometimes real strength is walking away from someone you love, because they don't protect your heart. In that moment, I chose myself. Even though it hurt. Even though I was scared to be alone again. Even though my future felt empty and dark. I chose self-respect over staying in a love built on lies. Healing didn't happen fast. It didn't happen in a straight line. Some days, I felt okay. I went to work, drank my coffee, talked to friends, and even laughed. Other days, I woke up with a pain so heavy I could hardly get out of bed. But slowly, life continued. I started spending more time with people who truly loved me, my family, my close friends. I let them see my broken parts. I told them the truth. They didn't judge me. They held me, listened to me, and reminded me that I was more than this story. I took long walks alone. I listened to music. I read books. I cooked for myself. I signed up for a class I always wanted to take. I learned something new. I built small routines that were just for me. Little by little, I breathed again. Little by little, I understood something important. Love is not about losing yourself to keep someone else. Real love does not ask you to ignore your pain. Real love does not live in secrets. I stopped looking at my past with him as a waste. Instead, I began to see it as a lesson or hard. Painful lesson, but a powerful one. Today, when I think about Daniel, my heart doesn't shake the way it used to. Yes, he hurt me. Yes, he lied to me. Yes, he broke the image I had of soulmates. But he also gave me something without meaning to. He showed me my own strength. He was not my soulmate. He was my lesson, my reminder that I deserve honesty, love, and peace. If you are listening to this and your heart is broken, I want you to hear me. You are not broken. You are not enough. Someone else's lies do not define your value. Sometimes the secret that breaks you is the truth that sets you free. And now, as I step into my future, I don't just walk with pain. I walk with wisdom. I walk with hope. Because I finally understand, losing him didn't mean I lost love. It meant I made space for real love, starting with the love I give to myself.